Welcome, everybody, to the Saphira Center of Shamanism. My name is Luke, experienced practitioner and mentor of the shamanic and occult sciences. Warm welcome back to my channel, whereby we break down the ancient technologies of both shamanism and the occult, bringing them into balance with the modern psychology and deep psyche. Before I start this topic, check out my membership programs, first and second links in the description. First link for the Patreon, second link for the premium membership service, and third link if you are interested in healing and mentoring, anything from guidance on your occult initiatory practices, healing and mentoring sessions, as well as full-blown shamanic initiation. As I said, links are in the description. So, on to today's topic. We are going to be discussing the abyssal crossing again, from the perspective of Kabbalistic initiation, referring specifically to the occult initiatory approach to the Tree of Life and the Tree of Death. We're going to be looking at the abyss very much from the perspective of the right qualities that you are needing to emanate and develop in order to cross the abyss successfully. We're going to be delving into realistically what is required when you go through your abyssal crossing, understanding that it's going to be different for every person that is going through it. But the theme that I'm seeing definitely remains the same amongst everybody who goes through this type of initiatory process. We're going to be looking at how the abyss is a technology that carries out three main functions. That is dispersion, that is recycling, and that is alignment to the true essence. We're going to be going into the different processes that you will go through whilst you descend into the abyss and whilst you come out of it as well. Very, very, very important subject for anybody who is interested in occult initiation from the perspective of Qabalah, for those who are interested in initiating into both the Tree of Life and the Tree of Death. This is going to be very important, so definitely stay tuned. So when we talk about crossing the abyss, it's important to note that we are referring to one of the most alluring concepts within occult initiation and esotericism as a whole. This is something which has shown in many ancient texts relating to the Kabbalah and different aspects of occult initiation. The process of crossing the abyss, when we refer to Kabbalistic initiation, is the process of opening the hidden gate of what we call the Da'ath. The Da'ath is the hidden Sephira or Qliphoth on both the Tree of Life and the Tree of Death. Okay, the Kabbalistic tree is split into two sides, but these two sides of the tree are actually the same tree. Okay, they're not separate from each other. Okay, what we are referring to here is the Sephiroth, the divine emanations that make up the organizing principles that hold our multiverse in place, as well as the Tree of Death, the Qliphoth, which is made up of the shells or husks that is repressing one's true essence and divinity. In my personal process, initiating through the Sephiroth led to the Qliphoth, initiating through the Qliphoth led to the Sephiroth. Okay, everyone's process is different, but we're really talking about yin and yang here. We're talking about the balance of darkness and light. The Qliphoth has been rejected by a lot of traditional Kabbalistic studies, and there are a lot of New Age communities that are referring to the Qliphoth, the Tree of Death, as cultural appropriation, but that is false. Okay, the Qliphoth, as of the same as the Sephiroth, also appeared in the ancient text known as the Zohar, which means that it is as legit as the Sephiroth itself. In fact, they are parts of the same tree. The difference is that the Sephiroth is the tree that represents light and order. It represents our multiverse, the multiverse that we are dwelling within, and the different spheres on the Sephiroth basically show the different divine emanations, the different organizing principles that are responsible for holding our multiverse in place and ensuring the process of separation from the oneness down into the physical, tangible experience is able to take place and flow freely. Okay, and the Sephiroth is a mirror of that. Okay, I'm showing a diagram of it here, and that is what the Sephiroth is. Okay, the Qliphoth, on the other hand, is the shadow aspect of the tree of life. Okay, it is the dark aspect of the tree. Okay, it represents everything that the organizing principles represent with the tree of life, but twisted, distorted, and showing what happens when these different qualities fall out of balance and operate from a wounded place. Okay, so basically what it is that it is the primordial portions of the tree of life itself. It will do the opposite to the tree of life. Initiating through the Qliphoth is dissolving. You're getting rid of things, and in doing so, it's like you're dissolving loads of shells, dissolving loads of predefined prisons, releasing those shells, getting rid of those constructs, and as you're doing that, your consciousness is expanding significantly and quickly as you are going through that initiatory process. Okay, so the purpose of going through the Qliphoth is to dissolve. The purpose of going through the Sephiroth is to gain. Okay, you're learning how to emanate qualities when you are going through the Sephiroth. Okay, whereas going through the Qliphoth, you're learning how to break and dissolve your illusions, your personas that you've created in order to function in the world. The false self is what the Qliphoth really refers to. Qlipha means shell or husk, referring specifically to the personas that have been established in order to make sense of the chaos within your life and in order to ensure that you are able to function effectively within the multiverse itself. So you could see initiating through the Qliphoth as a process of decoding the matrix, if you want a new age term, because you're going through and you're dissolving the things that have kept you bound to a particular illusion, and you're embracing your true spirituality and sovereignty free from those illusions. Okay, the issue and what the Qliphoth calls you up on, or it does for a lot of people, is that it shows you how a lot of spirituality and the concept of self-development is there to actually enhance the shells, okay, enhance the illusion, enhance the false self. Okay, when you're going through the Qliphoth, you'll come to different realizations, deeper and deeper realizations, the further up the tree that you go. The further up the tree you go, you'll go through more and more dissolving. Deeper layers of your ego that you're not needing anymore will dissolve, fall away, revealing more and more potential underneath that is there to be processed and integrated. Okay, so every sephira or every sphere on the tree of life is going to be mirrored by a sphere, a Qlipha, on the tree of death. We call them Sephira, meaning divine emanation on the tree of life, and Qlipha, meaning shells on the tree of death. Okay, they are mirrors of each other, direct mirrors of each other, but one sphere that remains the same is the Da'ath. Okay, and this is technically not a sphere, but is more of a gateway. Okay, the Da'ath is the liminal space that separates the supernal triad on both trees from the lower densities. Okay, and the process of initiating through the Da'ath is to send your consciousness into the void. Okay, the void, the dark womb that birthed all of creation, in order to go through a significant process of death. Okay, symbolic death and rebirth. The abyss is a very laborious process. It is a long process of gradually descending into the depths of your unconscious, the deepest portions of your unconscious, allowing the illusions that you've created to be dispersed in order to clear your vessel for pure potential. As I've explained in my Beast 666 video, if you haven't seen that, definitely check that out. The two abyssal crossings that take place both within the Sephiroth and the Qliphoth are extremely different in nature. Okay, they have similarities, but the overall purpose of them is different. Okay, see the Sephiroth as a process of angelic initiation, learning how to emanate the different qualities of the angels in order to integrate those divine principles into your day-to-day life. See the Qliphoth as a process of daemonic initiation, feminine initiation. Instead of learning to emanate, you are learning how to serve yourself. Okay, which means that going through a process of initiation like this on both sides is going to be entirely different. Okay, when you're going through the Sephirothic Abyss, as I've mentioned in previous videos, is a gradual descent and then going back up the other side. The purpose of the Sephirothic Abyss is to clear your vessel so that you are able to hold the higher levels of consciousness and the higher densities that is represented by the supernal triad, the sphere of Binah, the sphere of understanding, Hokmah, wisdom, and Keter, crown. Okay, without going through the abyssal crossing, you will not be able to comprehend those Sephirothic initiations, and either your system won't be able to process or handle the energy, or nothing will happen when you try and initiate into those spheres. Okay, question that I often get asked is, do you need to initiate through the abyss of the Sephiroth to complete the Sephiroth? The short answer is absolutely. Okay, and it's the same with the Qliphoth, especially the Qliphoth, but we'll get to that in a second. Yes, you absolutely need to cross the abyss in the Sephiroth to be able to effectively integrate the energies of the supernal triad. Okay, the reason for that is because the supernal triad is such a high energy that is so beyond comprehension anyway, that if you were to just initiate into them, I'm not going to say that you're not going to feel anything, but either you wouldn't be able to ground the energies and it will just get really chaotic, or nothing will happen at all. Yeah, and you won't be able to integrate those energies because your vessel isn't clear enough to receive those energies. Okay, so it's the same with the Thelemic current as well, developed by Aleister Crowley or channeled by Aleister Crowley, works with a Kabbalistic system of initiation. Crossing the abyss in Thelema is very much aligned to that of the Sephiroth. Okay, in order to contain the higher knowledge, in order to attain the Magnus Opus or the Philosopher's Stone, the great work, you need to go through the first stage of blackening, which is the process of nigrido, which is the process of death and dispersion, in order to taste those higher energies. Okay, so the abyss, in regards to the Sephiroth, is that step in attaining the Philosopher's Stone. The Philosopher's Stone requires 4 steps, okay, in order to attain it. Okay, one of those steps is the dissolving process, the blackening process. Okay, that is the abyss, the death process. Then it's the understanding process. Okay, that is Binah. Okay, then it is learning how to emanate the wisdom that you've gained, and that's Hokmah. And then Keter is the final integration of all of those stages of the process, and then shapes what you would call the Magnus Opus, the great work, or the Philosopher's Stone. Okay, the attainment of sovereignty. So crossing the abyss in the Sephiroth, the purpose of that is to taste the energies of the supernal triad, to dissolve and then rebuild. Okay, in the Qliphoth, rather, it is a different process altogether. As much as, yes, the abyss is there for you to taste the energies of the supernal triad, and you need to go through that initiation before you do, the purpose of it is different. The purpose of the abyss is to send you through the black hole, and in essence, you become an aspect of the void itself. Okay, what the Qliphothic abyss does is that it creates a merging with the abyss. Okay, the Qliphothic abyss basically contains all of the other Qliphas, all of the other spheres, all of the other stages of the journey within it. Okay, so when you are going into the Qliphothic abyss, you are merging with the dark womb that birthed everything into existence. Okay, and this is seen as something of a black hole. In a sense, you are allowing yourself to be devoured by that black hole, allowing that black hole to, in a sense, spaghettify you. And send you through that natural process of recycling and dissolving, leaving the true essence underneath. Through the Qliphothic abyss, you have to embrace optimal emptiness, understand that emptiness and despair is the source, and that when you taste and embrace emptiness and despair, that is pure potential. Okay, the abyss is a paradox. Okay, both the Qliphothic abyss and the Sephirothic abyss represent a paradox. Okay, you are dissolving to rebuild. Okay, you're going through a natural process of dispersion, removing everything from your life that is not serving the true essence of your soul. Relationships will be reconstructed or simply dissolved if they are not able to grow and evolve with you. Friendships that are not serving you will completely wither away or grow and evolve with you. The same with jobs, different aspects of obligation that you feel within the world around you. The abyss is there to dissolve obligation. Okay, it's there to dissolve the shells that are essentially distracting you from following your true soul's essence. Okay, and that means that because all of us have been wired into this physical multiverse with this collective level patriarchal programming, we are all somewhat shelled within the Qliphoth naturally. Okay, we are all shelled within the Qliphothic realm somewhat. In other words, we have aspects of ourselves that are frozen within the trauma. Okay, frozen within the trauma that we have experienced, and those parts of us are waiting to be freed and integrated. So what happens when you go through the abyss is that your entire nervous system will drastically sensitize. Okay, your whole nervous system will drastically sensitize. Repressed traumas will come flooding through to the surface in order to be processed and integrated. Veils will be lifted layer by layer by layer. Okay, as you descend into the abyss, many people find that it is a gradual descent. Okay, and what that means is that, okay, it's not like you initiate into the abyss and then the next day it's like, oh, I'm in the depths of the void. For me and what I've seen with other people, it was a very gradual process. Okay, the first 2 weeks were like, it's quiet, too quiet in here. Yeah, it was like a gradual descent down into the abyss, deeper and deeper. Things have gradually become more intense, gradually more intense. And then I'm like, okay, I'm struggling to understand what is actually going on here. And then you realize you're not actually supposed to understand at all. And the fact that it is intangible is all part of the process. Then it reaches a point where it's like, oh, okay, right, something will probably happen outside of you. Something will probably go wrong. You may encounter a person, you'll encounter some form of chaos that will be a manifestation of Choronzon, the beast of the abyss, that is there specifically to sensitize your nervous system. Yeah, it will normally happen through an external trigger. Okay, because something needs to happen outside. It's a bit like, you need to attain the key before unlocking the door, basically. And your external experiences within the abyss is the key to unlocking what is buried deep within your nervous system. And what will happen is that Choronzon will put you to the test, will bring you situations, or a situation or multiple situations that are there specifically to break you open. Okay, and it feels like in the moment, it feels like this has been sent to me to destroy me. Okay, it hasn't. It's been sent to destroy your layers of suppression and open your heart. And what you will find is that once that heart opening has taken place, then the trauma will start to flow through to the surface. Okay, self-doubts, fears, all kinds of things that you have hidden will start to flow up to the surface at a drastic rate. If you ignore them and you don't feel them, then it will manifest more chaos within the world around you. This is how the abyss works, okay? It will manifest more chaos around you if you try to ignore what is happening, okay? This is why you have to cross the abyss when you are ready to do so, particularly if you are going through the Qliphothic abyss, okay? You cannot just enter into the abyss, especially the Qliphothic abyss, without going through the lower Qlifas first. And that is from Nehimoth to Gamaliel, Samael, Arabzarak, Thagirion, Golachab, and Gamchikoth or Ga'ag Shibla, and then crossing the abyss. Okay, you have to have spent a substantial amount of time within those spheres, integrating the energies before going into the abyss. Otherwise, it's a little bit like if you go straight into the abyss, it's like taking a super high voltage battery and putting it into a battery pack that is not able to effectively hold that voltage. It will just, yeah, completely break down. Okay, so you need to prepare your vessel first to go through the abyssal crossing. Okay, the other stages of initiation before the abyss, they have their own challenges in their own way. Yeah, and that's the same for both the Qliphoth and the Sephiroth. Again, the difference is that the Sephiroth is there specifically to help you gain energy, whereas the Qliphoth is there to help you dissolve illusion. Okay, so you will go through numerous challenges on your way up to the abyss, but what many people find is that a lot of them are actually a walk in the park compared to the actual abyssal crossing. Okay, if we're referring to Qliphothic initiation here, the Tree of Death, we are referring to a realm when we talk about the Da'ath, the abyss, we're referring to a realm that contains all of the other Qlifas within it. Okay, every stage of the Qliphothic initiation is held within the Da'ath. Okay, so when you open the Da'ath, it's a little bit like you're experiencing every sphere or everything that you've gone through, but what you have repressed and what you've refused to own or what you may have bypassed within the previous spheres will come straight back up and show itself to you right in your face. Okay. However, as much as the abyss is a chaotic experience, it is there to help you. Okay, the abyss has no interest in destroying you. Okay, it is a ruthless process of dispersion of the illusion. Okay, it is not a dispersion of the truth. A lot of the occult community frame the abyss as something which is there to take you down, there to destroy you. Okay, and a lot of the ancient texts describe the abyss as an initiatory ordeal that is there to destroy you. The abyss is an ordeal, don't get me wrong, but it is a much needed ordeal. Okay, it will restructure your life in ways that you can't really comprehend. Okay, and it will be a gradual descent. As you travel down, veil after veil after veil will be lifted. Okay, shell after shell, persona after persona will be shattered, will be destroyed in order to clear space. Okay, to clear space for pure potential, pure emptiness. The sensation that I get when going through the abyss is one layer dissolves, an aspect of my identity dissolves into nothing. I'm like, okay, that must not have been me. Then my ego latches onto another identity. It's like, oh, yeah, that's me. And then Karonzon shatters that one as well. Yeah, and that happens continuously. Okay, layer after layer, veil after veil. As soon as you think that you have mastered the abyssal energy, something will happen. Karonzon will shatter that illusion and will show you that you cannot hold on to anything that is tangible in this energy. Okay, a lot of people say that the key to success within the abyssal crossing is surrender. Yes, that is true. Surrender is the key, but that is way too surface level. Okay, you could say the solution to everything is surrender. But we need to understand the additional things that are required alongside the surrender. Okay, the abyssal process does not have to be difficult and it does not have to be re-traumatizing, but if you do resist the process, then it may move into that territory, but you've got to trust that that is what you need. Okay, the abyss is a powerful technology that is there to recycle. It's basically the recycling zone of the collective unconscious, basically. Yeah, it represents that pure essence of oblivion and meaninglessness, that one place that you don't want to look. Okay, have a feel into what you are avoiding. Okay, is there a sensation at all? And a lot of people get this if they are supposed to be going through these types of initiatory processes. Is there a sensation that there is like an oblivion following you around, an internal emptiness, an internal despair that you can't quite explain and that you can't quite look at because it's just not tangible, or there's too much fear to look at it? That is the abyss. Okay, the reason is that this is your shadow. That is your home. The emptiness is your home. The despair is your home. We all come from the void. Infinite potential, but infinite nothing at the same time. Anything that comes into contact with the void energies will be destroyed if it is illusionary. Okay, the illusion will be shattered to clear space for the pure potential. Emptiness is what you are needing to merge with when you go through the abyssal crossing. We need to allow ourselves to become directionless, to become empty, because in that emptiness lies pure potential. We cannot create a new reality or reconstruct our reality in a way that is true and authentic to us if the old construct is still there. If you try and do that, then it won't work because there's not enough life force energy or space to be able to clear it. So this is why the abyssal crossing is required, because you need to embrace nothingness. Yeah, meaninglessness. Okay, you will likely lose direction in the abyss. Okay, you will likely experience the sensation, particularly in the Qliphothic abyss, of really being like, why am I even doing anything? What is the point? Yeah, you know, many people watching this who haven't been through the process may be able to resonate with these feelings, but this is not the same as going through the abyssal crossing. Going through the abyssal crossing is willingly descending into the emptiness that birthed everything into creation. It's a very harsh reality, harsh truth to come to terms with, but is one that is completely life-changing. With the abyss, there is always a paradox. What you are embracing within the abyss, you can understand that you are going to be opening yourself up to the opposite of that. You embrace dispersion, you're opening yourself up to recreation and reconstruction. You embrace despair, you are opening yourself up to optimal meaning. When you enter the abyss, you realize that there is no definitive meaning and that the infinite search for the meaning of life doesn't actually have a definitive meaning, and that we are all here to define a meaning for ourselves through our free will. So as you go through your abyssal crossing, veils will be lifted, truths will come to the surface, truths will be revealed, things that you have repressed will come to the surface, and it can feel quite scary. Yeah, you have moments where you're not actually connected to reality at all. Bearing in mind that you are in a physical body and there's only so much of this energy that you're going to be able to tap into whilst in a physical body, it is the literal tower moment. It is the literal falling of the illusionary constructs that you have established in order to clear space for something new. The key with the abyss is to release the need to have any solution to anything at all, understanding that no solution is the best solution in that area. Okay, if you fight the abyssal energies, then it's going to be a very short fight, to say the least. If you fight the void and you fight for your false self, then that is when the abyssal energies can become dangerous and re-traumatizing if you are holding on to the excess energy that is trying to be dispersed. Okay, that's the only time that the abyss can realistically become dangerous. If you are going into it ready and willing to go through the process of dissolution, to let go, to go through the continuous deaths that it will bring, then there's no reason why you can't go through this process. Okay, there are many people on YouTube and in books that try and gatekeep this type of information, that try and stop other people from doing it. Yeah, it's like, I went through hell in my abyssal crossing, so you won't be able to go through that. Yeah, it's like you only go through hell and suffering after suffering after suffering if you are in resistance. Okay, and the abyss does not want you to suffer. It doesn't. Corondon does not want you to suffer. Okay, he's ruthless. Yeah, he will shatter your false self. It is his food. But what you're doing is that you're, in a sense, you're accepting Corondon as a part of yourself. Corondon being the beast of the abyss. When you're going into the abyss, you are merging with Corondon. Yeah, you are merging with the void. You are becoming it. But that means that you are not going to be able to escape it. Okay, this is something that you are never going to get out of. And there needs to be acceptance with that. Okay, you will process it, you will integrate it, but particularly going through the Qliphothic abyss, you are not ever going to get out of it. Yeah, that is the biggest misconception with people who are crossing the abyss. It is something, or it's framed as something that needs to be got through. Or once you're through the abyss and you're in the supernal triad, you're fine. Once you get through Corondon, then it's fine. Yeah, you're going to be in the abyss for the rest of your life. Yeah, you're going to be able to ground the energies more once you've surrendered to it, but you're going to be connected to the void. Yeah, and this means that you are really going to develop, if you're really going through the initiation properly, you're really going to develop a true relationship with your own mortality. You're going to develop a true relationship with what sovereignty actually is, and the illusions of sovereignty are going to be shattered. Yeah, you're going to see that sovereignty is not escaping the flesh. That sovereignty is understanding your true power and potential beyond the inevitable challenges that you're going to face within your day-to-day life. The abyss is a paradox. If you become nothing and empty, no one can destroy you if you're nothing. Nothing can prevent you from doing what it is that you are wanting to do if you are nothing. Okay, when you are embracing this natural process of merging with the void, you are becoming the void. So therefore, you're never going to be able to escape it. You will never escape the void because you will become the void. Okay, and this is who you have always been. This is the thing. You have always been a piece of pure potential, a primordial spark within a multiverse that is here specifically to define a meaning for itself. A spark of the goddess that is expressing itself within a physical, tangible experience in order to define a meaning for itself. When you're going through the abyss, you're going home. You're finding your home from within your physical body. And you do not want to escape your home. Yeah, this is the truth. When you're going through the abyss, you are gaining the knowledge of your soul. Okay, abyss, the da'ath, means death, but in death you gain knowledge. Okay, that's why the hidden Sephirah, or the hidden Qliphoth, is the Qliphoth or the Sephirah of knowledge. Because in death you gain knowledge. When you've cleared the illusion and you've embraced emptiness and you understand yourself as an aspect of emptiness itself, that's when you gain the real knowledge. This is who you really are. This is who you have always been. And you'll get no-sees like, oh my God, I've never seen it in that way before. I've never viewed things in that sense. But it is a laborious process. It does take time. The last thing that you want to do is go into the abyss and then rush out of it. Yeah, I think that's also, I personally believe that that's also a process that people do struggle with. And this is why a lot of people may even think that they've crossed the abyss when they may still very much be in it, because they've gone into it, they've spent, okay, a month in the abyss, that's fine. But then it's like, but then they're still in the energies, and then it's like, oh, I've been in the abyss for a month, so I should move on to the supernal triad now. Okay. You stay in the abyss until you feel the energies of the supernal triad already within you. You don't go searching for the supernal triad, okay? The infinite wisdom and knowledge that is gained through the supernal triad has to find you. You cannot initiate into it willingly. You have to be permitted access to the supernal triad, okay? And I feel many people who go into the abyssal crossing have one intention, and that is to get out of the abyssal crossing, okay? When they don't realize that even just by performing that initiatory process, they are becoming the void. So if you're becoming the void, then you are never going to be able to escape from the void. Okay. So this means that you can spend, I would always advise people spending as long as they can in the abyss. Stay in there for as long as you can. Yeah, unpopular opinion coming in, but repeat the initiatory ritual if you feel it's necessary. Yeah, I myself, when I was in the abyss, repeated the initiatory ritual into the abyss 3 times. Yeah, twice I used VK Jahannam's method to initiate into the abyss. And then the third time I used Enoch Petrocelli's method, which is said to just throw you straight into the depths of the abyss in that respect, because I wanted to swim in there. Yeah, I personally find an aspect of the abyssal energy quite addictive in a way, because it's kind of like it's just this pure potential, this pure infinity. Yeah, it's like it's amazing. Yeah, swim in the energy. Yeah, revel in this beautiful, meaningless, pure potential. Yeah, because it doesn't have to have a meaning. Yeah, you don't have to exist. You can cease to exist and then open yourself up to a more crisp existence. Okay. And when I say cease to exist, I'm not spiritually bypassing by saying that. Yeah. But you are allowing your illusion to cease to exist, allowing your false self to cease to exist. So then, when you're really immersing yourself within this abyssal crossing and you're really taking time to sink into the energies and become it, that is when the real transformation takes place. And this is how you know that you are crossing the abyss successfully. Yeah. When you are letting go of the need to get out of the abyss. Yeah. As soon as you let go of that need to get out of it, you embrace the darkness, you let yourself be swallowed by the black hole, release the need to have any given solution to get out of it, release the need to fix things, to fix yourself, acknowledge that you are a perfect spark of primordial potential and chaos that has come here to recover its true essence and perfection that has already been within you, and that is the abyssal crossing. So you will stay in the abyss for as long as necessary. Could be 3 months, could be 6 months. I've heard of people staying in the abyss for over a year. Enjoy it. This is you. This is the true self. This is you. Enjoy it. Relax into it. Surrender to it. And when you've spent long enough in there, the supernal triad will find you. You will soon find, if you're going through the Qliphoth, Satariel will be waiting for you, the next stage of your process to start to rebuild after the dispersion. If you're going through the Tree of Life, Binar will be there waiting for you. Okay. So it is going to be slightly different. The extent of the initiation within the Qliphothic Abyss is a lot more intense in the Qliphoth than it is in the Sephiroth. The Sephiroth is like a big ditch. Yeah, you're going into it, and then you're coming back up the other side. The Qliphoth, you're going through it. Going through it, letting it transform you, allowing yourself to move into the realm of pure potential, and are committing your life to dwelling within the abyss. Okay. And what you'll find is that after that process, temporarily, you may find yourself slipping back into the abyss. Yeah, slipping back into it. Because once you've successfully crossed the Qliphothic Abyss, you are dwelling within the abyss, in a sense. You are that spark of source energy that is then dwelling within the void, the place of pure potential, embracing your emptiness to then embrace pure potential and new rebirth on top of that. So understand that it is a technology that is there to do three things: disperse, recycle, and align. Okay, the dispersion, the necessary deconstruction, removing things that are not sustainable for you, the removal of coping mechanisms, the removal of illusion, the removal of false light, the literal surgical removal by the black hole of the abyss, the recycling, the things in your life that do have your best interest but need to be restructured and reprocessed in order for it to be a sustainable vehicle for your soul. Okay, so this could be relationships. Okay, a relationship could be in your life that has your best interest, but it will go through a necessary restructuring if it is supposed to stay within your life. And then finally, the alignment. Once you have embraced that natural process of descent, once you have embraced your meaninglessness, embraced your emptiness, then you will tap into the full potential. And then you will gradually start to ground the energy, process it, and the supernal triad will be there waiting for you. But I want to emphasize, don't rush out of the abyss. It's not there to be overcome. You will never overcome it because this is your psyche. This is you. You try and overcome it, then it will catch up with you eventually. Yeah, and this is why I feel that many people are said to have lost their minds by going through the abyss or going into the Qliphothic realms or after the Qliphothic realms, because they simply don't know that by crossing the abyss they are becoming the abyss. So then, but then it's contradictory because they're trying to escape it. So this is very, very, very serious stuff. A very potent technology that is there to recycle you, to help you restructure, reprocess, disperse, and reconnect with the true knowledge that comes from emptiness and meaninglessness. And Choronzon is your friend, is your guide that is there to help you dissolve those illusionary veils that have been encasing your true essence. Extremely powerful process, beautiful process, but I think that is everything that I need to speak about in today's video. If this video is helpful to you, hit like and subscribe. Definitely check out my membership programs in the first and second links of the description, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.